Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 7th of December. So let's start looking at the risk, potential risk for today first. There we go. There isn't much, to be fair. In fact, what is even listed here rarely moves the market too much, but you never know, and hence why we look at it. So we've seen the Reserve Bank of Australia's rate statement. That's very much as expected, although they are looking now, I believe in February, to start looking at unwinding some of their measures that they put in to help the market. So there we are. That's the Reserve Bank of Australia. This morning we've got the economic sentiment coming from Europe and Germany in particular. Looking at there, we've had some really quite dull figures coming in from Germany recently, and the orders yesterday, factory orders yesterday, etc. So we could do with some brightness there for the European region. Aside of that, the IVPMI, I don't even know why it's orange. It just doesn't create much in the way of volatility. Actually, I've just closed that off. Let's just bring that back up. Let's just look at the yields this morning. Yields yesterday were dropping really low. Okay, they've picked up a bit since. They were the lowest I'd seen them for months yesterday. There we go. They'd been, well, way back. Okay, September, but well, that's months, isn't it? We saw 0.357 yesterday, so quite low, picking up a little bit at the moment, which is more dollar positive overall. I could look, actually I shall start with a dollar index this morning. I'd just like to have a quick look at what's going on there. And as you can see, the inverted euro, as I prefer to call it, is well, it's looking a tad like it easily could roll back towards its monthly pivot there. A bit undecided, but there's enough data coming over in the next couple of weeks that may just stall that. But I was just really looking to see on the higher levels here what's slowing us up, what's stopping us. And well, it's still around that sort of 50% retrace, and it's not managed to push on. Well, over the last 2 weeks it didn't manage to push on, and it's sitting around it at the moment. So it's certainly stalled things for now. Right, let's have a look at the euro proper and go through. So euro similar inverted picture on the dailies here. Can it manage? It looks actually slightly less potential to push up than anything else. It's the other basket currencies that have gained more against the US dollar. In fact, as I look at the euro on the shorter time frames, I drew the trend lines on yesterday, but it stepped itself out of those rather than broke itself out. It did look at one stage yesterday afternoon that it was going to sink properly, but all it did was find some support. As I said yesterday, these levels of support quite important as well. So yes, it's broken the trend line, but basically it walked out the trend line. Now it's given us a sort of a key area there at 1266, somewhere in that region, 1260, where the support was sitting. Lower highs still run through here, lower lows in the general picture on this 4-hourly, and it's such an ugly market on the hourlies here, trying to do anything with it. Caught me out a little short. It just not playing ball here. It's sort of whipsawing a little bit, so probably best left until something clean sets up there on the euro. Speeding along a bit now then, the pound still largely heading south. Yesterday managed an inside bar and a bit more positivity, closed towards its highs there in the end, or higher I should say. Today, well, that 4-hourly 50 really seems to be the point where it's not breaking through. If we can break through that 4-hour 50 and hang on to the gains, then maybe the 100 and then the monthly pivot above could be targets. But there is this sort of short squeeze discussions going on across some of these markets, particularly those that have been really hammered down, the Aussie, etc. and whether we'll see more upside on those. The pound hasn't really had the same sort of squeeze in it though. Looking at dollar yen, well, again we've got this sort of support area at 112.54ish area. It's squeezed in between. It's not going beyond its monthly pivot at the moment, just holding it in terms of resistance. It's difficult one. It looks like a bit of risk back on, and we're just sort of seeing a release of some of the yen buying that would have gone on whilst the risk was off, and it was a bit of unwinding possibly, but the trouble with the yen, it can switch back and suddenly also the yen is being bought, so difficult one there. Aussie dollar, well, here we go. So a solid day yesterday. It held on to its gains pretty much all day long there. Held around the highs, and then it's been pushed up on the news here. The markets quite like it, and as I say, this may be a bit more of the short squeeze. Be interesting when it comes in towards that 50. Hasn't been touched for quite some time. Way back on the 16th, I think, of last month. So it's quite some time since that's been approached, and that might provide some near short-term resistance at least. Starting to get a bit steep in terms of its the rise, and the steeper something gets, often the quicker it just drops back a bit. But higher lows, higher highs still running through here, and erring on that bullish side. Not much if I wanted to get long at the moment to do so from. I would need a retrace. So a bit of patience needed on that, but we may look at a couple of cross pairs to play the Aussie. The Canadian dollar, again, one that's gaining back some here. It looks really like it's got the potential to get down towards the monthly pivot here. Morning, Bogdan, sorry. Okay, so coming right the way down, heading, as I say, towards that monthly pivot. So all looks quite soft there at the moment, and well, for the US dollar that is, and the Canadian dollar still doing pretty well. In terms of its, I mean, again, I need a retracement, a retracement. I mean, such as the one that pulled back here. It would be nice, just a bit of consolidation and retracement to be looking short in this US dollar, Canadian dollar. For now, I will leave it. Again, it's just the way it goes. Markets, just lots of patience needed. I was talking to some of our traders yesterday, and even intraday trading, sometimes it's better automated. Outside bar on the New Zealand dollar on the dailies today at the moment. It hasn't finished, of course, but it has put a new low in there and turned round a little bit. Often these are signs of maybe a change. We're not too far off from its weekly pivot here. Again, whether these markets will all manage to pull back enough, we'll see. It could be just that they're quite oversold. New Zealand dollar got quite a hammering of late, and really has been sold off whilst everything else hasn't. I was looking at it in the COT analysis, commitment to trader analysis, and as I said, well, some of these are starting to get a little bit sort of like oversold, certainly short term. Right, okay, there's the majors. Let's just have a look at gold. So gold this morning, gold yesterday, well, gold yesterday managed to sell back a little bit, picking up again this morning, so just not very much so, and it's sort of sitting here, maybe a break above that 1786 area, maybe a little bit higher, would see us run towards the monthly pivot. It's a tight old one at the moment, and I certainly won't be day trading it. Maybe there's a swing available, but I just don't like the way it's running at the moment. So a breakout there, you may get a 2-to-1 with a stop below the lows there. May get something like a 2-to-1 if it starts breaking out up to targeting its monthly pivot, maybe a bit higher back into those prior highs. So, and oil had a bit of an up day yesterday. In the end, was looking to see if it rolled over some more, but eventually it fired off and continued running. I was looking break-in of the weekly pivot, but it's provided plenty of support, pushed up some more, and well, it stepped out of my original trend line. You can see the trend line I'd popped on the lows there, pretty much just walking its way along. Later on, at 2 o'clock did start selling, but not enough to needed to break below the weekly pivot, which it didn't, for me to join the party on the sell side. But at the moment it's bouncing, and maybe again we've seen quite a few shorts coming through. There's been structurally quite a change over the last few months on some of these markets, and some shorts building up a little bit more. Again, squeezed out potentially on this. So there we are, back in $70. We won't ever get back to a decent price on petrol, I'm sure. Right, on that basis, let's have a look and change markets here. Let's go and we'll have a look at the cryptos first, as they're all set up. Bouncing a tad yesterday, this moving up a slight bit at the moment. Bitcoin, there is this sort of, whenever it's done anything like this, there's this point of doubt that comes in, and personally I need to see something which suggests that it's back on the climb. At the moment it's just a bit of a bounce maybe, and that's it. Yes, it did come back to that. It's pretty close to those prior lows. Not convinced at the moment. It's just maybe just a bounce, consolidation, and a continuation to the downside. So it really needs to put a higher low in there to change my mind on it at this stage. Of course, with Bitcoin and these cryptocurrencies, they can just fire up all of a sudden and off they go. They don't give the higher low. Well, that's a risk I take if I wanted to be in the market. Ethereum, more solid, always a little bit more solid than Bitcoin recently, and well, this one has the chances. I think it didn't get sold off to it way back here. It's September data. Yes, it did get a spike down there, but that didn't hold on very long at all over the weekend. And to me, it's the more bullish of them. Ripple, XRP, again same as Bitcoin really here. It's the weakest of the bunch overall anyway. It's taken out its September lows, so it's and taken out the lows before then, right down to, not far off, taking out the lows back in July time, but certainly taking out the September lows there. And again, I really need to see something more convincing, a higher low or something, if I was looking to do this, trade it. Now, with the cryptos, personally, it would only be for me on a more sort of longer hold as opposed to a short-term intraday trade. Okay, Asian markets. Looking at the equity markets, then CSI 300, well, popped up and then dropped a little bit here. Filled the gap that was applied there. I'm still erring towards the bearish side, but as some of these markets get sorted out, we might see something. The debt restructured in some of the Asian markets. We might see something a little bit more, but for now, I'd keep clear of that personally. The Nikkei, much more solid bounce there through the Asian time there. I'm not convinced with this market either. It's just not in a trend really, is it? It's just chopping along. Looking at the European markets then, FTSE's open this morning on a bullish old move there. Solid movement up at the moment. Very solid movement indeed, pushing up from yesterday's good up day. So the equity market's building at it again. I'd put a 4-hourly chart on, or switch this to a 4-hourly chart, this DAX, and looks like it's breaking the top end of the little wedge that was sitting there at the moment, and it's broken out this morning, looking a bit more positive, as is the CAC. I mean, but not. I don't know, but maybe this is just a retracement and that they are all going to bounce back, but we'll see. Looking across the pond then to the S&Ps, again futures at the moment pushing up strongly, so We normally see a weaker dollar and stronger futures. Well, we're seeing that to a degree at the moment. US NZDUSD, there we go, pushing up at the moment, and the Dow again much more solidly. In fact, we started seeing that pushing a bit more solidly yesterday initially, and well, it's a little bit behind the European curve, but it's pushing up strong. So at the moment, well, you can't discount these indices at all from seeing further highs. Yields are sort of sitting there in that sort of middling area, which takes the risk of takes the money out away from the dollar a little bit, and equities seem to be the alternative. Right, that's pretty much it for me this morning. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you in the morning, usual time. Bye for now. Oh, but what's to think of it? If you want to join us for 2 days, we've got 2 days in our trading room coming up tomorrow and the next day. I will put the link at the bottom of this video once it goes onto the system. So it'll be about 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and I'll glue the link on the bottom so you can join us. Or there's another video that you'll see just also on the system here on our stream, which you can align to. That's it for me. Have a good one. Take care.